Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? It's Monday the 30th of March, and my clock is on the wrong time still. Clocks went forward an hour on Saturday night, and so we're sort of adjusting. It takes me weeks to adjust when the time goes back or forward, but it feels highly symbolic actually for the times that we're in. It's as though we're all sort of stuck in a time which was sort of pre-corona. There's a song there, isn't there? There's a song in that, pre-corona. But actually we are now, into a new reality, and we're just sort of getting to grips with it, aren't we? And making the best of it, hopefully. I've got a few things I want to say today, which I actually think are quite important. And I'm also going to revisit some old ground that I was talking about last week, which I hoped wasn't an energy that was going to be keep coming back into a new week, but it is, judging by the emails and messages I've got in overnight on Facebook and also YouTube. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I've got some guidance from Metatron basically, in terms of why we're feeling pulled to go down particular rabbit holes at the moment. And it's not saying that it's wrong to do so. It's just bringing a level of understanding in terms of why you may be feeling that you want to do that. Okay. So should we just start off with that actually? Let's just start off with that, as I've sort of introduced the subject quite well. So I've noticed over the last week in particular that on my social media accounts, there is a lot of interference happening. I'm seeing an uprising of bots, and you can tell a bot a mile off. It's not a person on the other end of the comment. And those of you that watch quite a lot of YouTube channels, you'll probably see the same names, and they keep coming up onto every channel, and they say something like good content, keep it up, I block them when I see them because it's not a person. I don't particularly want that energy on my site. I've also been getting a lot of these, friend requests, which aren't really friend requests at all. The single male, hi, coming into both my work pages and my personal page, and even sort of coming in and making comments on other people's comments. It's never happened before. And I keep hearing a line from the song Where Is the Love by Black Eyed Peas and will.i.am. And it's one line. I mean, the whole song's brilliant, of course, but the line is infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. And I can't let that line go. It's like Metatron he keeps saying that line to me. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. I actually feel as though there is an infestation, I'm just going to call it an infestation of unhelpful energy at the moment. And okay, that's interesting. What Metatron's showing me is that as more darkness is being exposed in our world, and it's coming out from places where it has been hidden, it's as though it's swarming somewhere else, and it's being attracted to the light. Okay, it's actually being attracted to the light. So we need to be amping up our own protection, our own spiritual protection. I have talked about this repeatedly on my channel. I recommend wearing the armour of God at all times at the moment. The armour of God, should we just do it together this morning? So we put it on, I always work from the bottom up for some reason. So I always say, let my feet walk in peace. Let me hold the sword of the Spirit. Let me have the shield of faith. Let me wear the belt of truth. Let me wear the breastplate of righteousness and the helmet of salvation, or awakening as I call it. So I put on my armour. I keep the big three very close. And what I mean by the big three, because I work so much with the angelic frequencies, Metatron, Michael and Uriel. And I've mentioned them before. So making sure that they are around you. Metatron, Uriel and Michael. Although, of course, there's also Zadkiel. Okay, so make sure you are wrapping yourself in those energies. Michael with the blue ray, Uriel with the red gold ray, Metatron with the rainbow ray, and Zadkiel with the violet ray. Okay, and when I did some meditation this morning, I said to Metatron, okay, what is the truth? All of these conspiracy theories out there, which seem to be getting more and more elaborate, almost by the hour. And I'm hearing all of them because they're all being sent to me. I'm not watching them all, but I know the gist of it. And what he showed me was a wasp. Very clearly, I was shown a wasp. And then he showed me a scene as though we were all outside having a picnic in the sunshine. And picnics, of course, can be very enjoyable, can't they? If you are with people that you love, it's a lovely sunny day, you've got some lovely food, you've maybe got a hamper, maybe you're on the beach, you have prepared this food and this drink, and, you're looking forward to having the picnic. And then what happens is this wasp comes, or a swarm of wasps come. And what he showed me was swatting away these wasps. And I feel as though the wasp is the energy of a lot of the conspiracy theories that are out there at the moment. Because what they are energetically, it's quite interesting, because a lot of them are presenting themselves as working for the light. But actually, when you take a closer look at the energy behind them, because I said to him, show me the energy behind some of these big conspiracy theories that are out there at the moment. I was shown the wasp, and then I was shown swatting the wasp away. And then I was shown the picnic. And putting all that together, what that says to me is that God, Spirit, wants us to be sitting in the sun. Okay, the sun is symbolic as well as real, probably. Okay, but it's symbolic in this case. The sun represents us being in a joy-filled state, in a state of happiness, in a state of peace, in a state of excitement, in a sense of anticipation, of new earth, of rising ascension frequencies on our planet. The horizon looks beautiful. More light is flooding in all of the time to our planet. There are more angels than have ever been walking amongst us, as well as galactics, and our eyes now are starting to open to these frequencies. We're starting to recognize earth angels and galactics when we see them. One of you put a link, I've had it a few times, to an Indian boy. I think his YouTube is called Conscience. And again, it's really clear he's very highly evolved. We've got these amazing children in our midst. There's so much good that's happening. So we're sitting in this lovely sort of energy of the picnic, just enjoying the fruits of our labour, basically, all of the hard work that we've put in over the years to get to this tipping point in time where we can start to see the mass awakening of people in terms of their spirituality, in terms of remembering that they are God also, that they have godliness within them. Throwing off the shackles, that you need somebody else to do that for you, that you are God, that I am God, that we are all aspects of God. And it's like this beautiful, amazing picnic stroke festival, that we're being invited to. And then you've got these wasps that are just coming in wanting to spoil the party. So, and the wasp, I was thinking, okay, well, what use does the wasp have? Now, I'm sure the wasp must have a use, because all animals and all beings have a use. But as I was thinking, I wonder what the wasp does, because actually it can be an annoying irritant, let's be honest. I was then shown the bee, and it was like the contrast between the bee and the wasp. And the bee was presenting itself as going to the plants, going to the flowers, going to the nectar, making something beautiful from that nectar, okay? Going to the most beautiful flowers and finding the one flower in the field that has got nectar, and it just has a honing device and it goes. And also it understands tribe, and it understands working for the queen bee, you know. There is a degree of leadership and honouring of the tribe and of the family with bees, and just how amazingly special they are. And then it's just like the wasp, even though I'm sure it does have some positive things, what I was shown today, it's just like we're all swatting this wasp away. And it's like an irritant to what we're actually supposed to be focusing on, which is the light, okay? So I thought that was really relevant. I thought it was really relevant because I'm feeling that a lot of what's being presented to us in terms of, hey, look at this. Wow, did you know this was happening? Oh, did you know this about this person? Did you know that? Did you know that? It's all distraction. A lot of it is distraction from actually what you and I are supposed to be working on, which is ourself. It's ourself. That's how the world changes. And I just very briefly looked up the symbolic meaning of wasp. I mean, there's lots of different meanings, of course. And as I keep saying, everything has duality, so there will be a positive as well. But this feels relevant in terms of what Metatron was showing me today. And it says, when the wasp spirit animal comes flying into your life, you are being reminded that wishing and dreaming about your desires will not make them come true. And what I feel that is linked into is this energy where a lot of these conspiracy theories are encouraging us to be spectators, where we're watching the downfall of certain groups, certain beings, certain energies on our planet. And we're all gawping, or being encouraged to gawp, you know, to gawp and to look and to say, oh my God, I never knew. And then, oh, I've got to go and tell this person. And do you know this? And do you know that? And it's just gawping. It's gossip. It's like a gossipy energy. And people are doing it on my page, just like leaving one word or a link to this, you know, and it's like, no, let people be sovereign beings. But equally, gawping and gossip aren't what we're supposed to be doing. What we're supposed to be doing with this period of enforced isolation, which most of us are going through in the world, is to go within. Okay, so all of these other things that are out there are distracting you from that job. And the truth is, most people will do anything other than look and be still and sit with themselves. They will. That's the truth. That is the truth. And I'm as guilty of that as anybody else, you know. So be aware of that. The second thing I got from Metatron very clearly today is he was talking, he was bringing me back to Moses. He was bringing me back to Moses, and particularly a chapter in the Bible. Those of you that want to look at it, it's Exodus chapter 32, and it's the story of the golden calf. So we are in times where we are being given the opportunity to align to God, to trust in God, to reaffirm our belief in God, as well as recognise our own godliness within ourselves. That is the crux of it. That's what we should be doing, okay? And if you remember the story of Moses, basically he went up Mount Sinai to meet with God on behalf of the people. And he was the one that was chosen by God for that role. And whilst he was up communing with God and receiving the 10 commandments, what happened to his people below Mount Sinai, this consecrated land, was they fell away from God. They started to worship false idols. They basically, if you remember the story, they took the gold from, you know, their women's ear and gold from anywhere they could find, and they fashioned a idol, which was a golden calf. And they decided to worship that because they fell away from God. They lost their faith. They lost their trust. And they thought, well, because I don't have that, I need something to gather around. I need something to focus my energy on. That can be my God. But it was a false God. And then Moses comes down Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets with the written word of God on, which is the 10 commandments, which are still the pillars of our society. And he saw what had happened to the people, that they had fallen away from God. And he smashed the tablets. The tablets got smashed. He then, after a while, he goes back up the mountain and he receives the tablets again from God, and it's the new covenant. But, there's so much in that story that Metatron was leading me to today, which I feel is so relevant for now, because it's as though we're placing our attention. Many people are placing their attention and their focus on these conspiracy theories, and they're online for hours a day, trying to decode the information that's being presented, going down the rabbit hole, staying down the rabbit hole, sharing what's out there with others. And it's like, where is God in all of that? Where is God? It's like almost like the conspiracy theories are becoming God. That's what I strongly am feeling Metatron is saying. It's like they are distracting from the job at hand, which is for you to go within, for you to have your own moment, effectively, on Mount Sinai with God, where you receive your new instructions for the new age that you're coming into. I also think there's something linked into the 10 commandments are never going to be replaced because they stand the test of time, basically. You shouldn't basically murder. You shouldn't steal. You should, whatever, And of course, Christ then added to that with his instructions to us as well. And they will stand the test of time. But I still feel as though for this new earth that we're entering, okay, what Metatron's saying is there will be a new set of commandments, and it's not because the old commandments are replaced. It's because what the old commandments say, if you truly live in 5D and beyond, you know it. It wouldn't even enter your head to go down into those energies that are forbidden, because you just wouldn't want to do it anyway. You wouldn't want to do it. I think there's one of the, I'm just trying to remember all of the Old Testament, all of the commandments, but I think there's the one also about coveting your brother's wife or something like that. Again, it's that thing about understanding that if we do anything that hurts another being, we're actually hurting ourselves. And when we're entering into the 5th dimension and into the energies of New Earth, we get it. We just get it. It's as though the moral code is very strongly aligned within us. It doesn't mean that we haven't made mistakes. It doesn't mean that sometimes we've fallen short of that. It just means that we do know that code stands. Okay. And so therefore it's like, okay, so it's like anything. If we are ascending and upgrading in terms of dimensions, then there needs to be almost like a new chapter written for us in this new territory that we are entering into. And what Metatron is showing me is the card from my own deck, which is this one, which is New Dawn. I've showed this to you before. So if we are being given the opportunity here to walk into a new dawn, a new reality, a new earth, well, at the moment, there's nothing there. It's like we can write the words. But unlike where Moses went up on his own to commune with God and came back with these are the rules, it's like we can come up with the rules as a community here. It's, okay, I'm being shown that God actually comes down the mountain this time, symbolically, to be with the tribe. The tribe is everybody. It's the whole world, okay? So God light comes down and actually sits with us. Well, how's that going to work if we're all on our computers the whole time, going down the rabbit holes? We're not even going to know that God is there sitting with us because we're too preoccupied with this stuff that doesn't actually involve us. I said last week that the people that have been appointed to bring down any darkness in our midst have been given that job, and they will do it in divine timing, in the right way. What they don't need actually is spectators. And the people that seem to need the spectators, I would really question that. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at there. So I'm being shown this card here, detached from drama. if you're totally absorbed into a darker timeline and you're down the rabbit hole, you can't see that God is sitting right there beside you and actually wants to communicate with you. They want to communicate with you. You know, if the internet does go down for a few days, I would actually say bring it on, but not for the reasons that some people would be saying, you know, in terms of actually it would give us all the most amazing opportunity to go into the indigo. Interesting that I'm getting indigo, okay? If we can detach from drama and we're actually taken offline, well, how wonderful. You will be able to communicate with God. You will actually be given the opportunity to sit with God, sit in nature, you know, whether that's sitting in your own garden or whatever, you know, you'll be able to sit and wonder at the mystery of life. That's the opportunity, to sit and think about the mystery of life and your place in it, rather than, oh my God, it's dark. I wonder what's happening. I wonder what's going down. I told you so. I told you so. And then maybe trying to wrap a political agenda around it as well. It's just not what we're supposed to be doing, guys. It's just not. Okay. One of my team, I don't think you'll mind me saying this, Michelle, she got gifted a telescope the other day. And it's such a brilliant idea because it's like it's looking to the stars and the alignments and remembering the vastness of everything. And there's so much that we can't see. Has anybody noticed that bright star beside the moon at the moment? Well, I'm friends with Jenny Burak, as a lot of you know, and Jenny from Astrology for Ascension, that's her channel. But the point is, I said to Jenny the other day, I said, what is that bright star then, right by the sun, right by the moon? And I think she said it's Venus. I hope I'm right in saying that. But again, it was just like, I really noticed it. It was like, wow, I've never seen it so bright. Try and tune into that. Have a communication with that. Commune with beauty. That's the point I'm really making. That's the whole point of telling you again the story of Moses going up that mountain. He had this most amazing moment of beauty and wonder where he was within God's presence. And then he came down and his people, who he thought were holding the faith, you know, just waiting and holding the faith, they'd fallen away. They were being distracted by anything but God. But it was wrapped up and a bit twisted. And that's what's happening at the moment. Things are being presented as God. I mean, everything is an expression of God. It's just what aspect of God are you wanting to focus on? And I feel what Metatron is saying very clearly to us is focus on being in the picnic, okay? The picnic is the energy. You know, the picnic is symbolic of the sunlight, of the brightness, of joy, of happiness, etc. Focus on that and you won't go far wrong, okay? Right, so where do we go to now? I think I'll just pull a card for today, shall I? What deck have I got here? I've got the Healers of the Earth deck. So we've had our two Metatron cards, really, which are Indigo, Mystery and Mastery of Life. Yeah, because unless, you know, you can actually go within, you're not going to find out the mysteries of life. The mysteries of all of the answers are in here. All of the answers are in here. Let's pull a couple of cards from this deck. Let's see what message Spirit would like to bring through for us today. When I say Spirit, I really mean Metatron. The law of balance. The law of balance. A lot of people are on tiptoes at the moment, you know. It's like we're treading on eggshells. We're treading on eggshells around situations. I actually think it's got the yin-yang sign. You see the yin-yang balance. I think this links into a lot of what's going on in our homes at the moment. People being forced together for prolonged periods of time. Relationships under strain. People being very mindful of what they can say, what they can do. But I think overall it's a positive card because this is about balance, you know, just try and keep the balance, try and keep the harmony, try to avoid extremes. In a way, it's a bit like this message I keep bringing through, which is about just do the middle way. You know, whatever's going on, try and just do the middle way. Don't go to extremes. don't go to extremes. That's why I keep talking about the rabbit holes, because a lot of them are extreme. They're extreme in what they're bringing through. So even if there's truth down there, it's like you're meant to be following the middle way. That's the place of balance. That's the place of equilibrium. I've never heard of that word before, equipoise. Oh, card number 66. I mean, 66 is not a number which is evil, you know. I know, you know, if you watch all the horror films, 666 and all of that, it can be linked into the darker side. But 66, thank you, Metatron, for reminding me here. This is something I was going to say and I'd totally forgotten to bring it in, but now I'm remembering it because of 66. 66 is about get grounded, you know, get real. This is the other thing I was wanting to say. There's so much ungroundedness out there at the moment. So many people losing their heads. Keep grounded, keep real. A lot of the stuff that you read online, you see, it can give us false sense of security because you feel you get with a tribe and everybody agrees with you. This is the danger of any channel, to be perfectly honest, any YouTube channel, which is that it like attracts like. So you get with a tribe and everybody's got the same vibe and everybody agrees with each other. But the ultimate test is go out of your front door and see if you can say the things that you're saying online in the everyday life without getting, you know, well, just see what the reaction is, basically. It's always quite a good test, actually. It's quite a good test. And I've talked about that before because the same would apply for something like angels or galactics. You know, I'm very aware of that. Having said that, certainly with angels, you know, a few years ago, 10 years ago, certainly, if you talked about I believe in angels, people would have laughed at you. Nowadays, go out of your street and go outside of your front door and say it. You'll find people that say, actually, yes, I know, I am too. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I'm seeing these signs. Yeah, does this mean anything? When I see the feathers or the numbers or whatever, you know? It's because it's becoming mainstream. When it's becoming mainstream, it's gone through a filtered process, basically. It's gone through a process of filtering where some of the BS, to be honest, has been filtered out. And the grounded stuff, which is true, is remaining, okay? Going into the new earth, going into the new dawn energy, only stuff that is properly filtered is going to make it through, which is why you're going to see a lot of, I'm trying to look for the new dawn card, it's why you're going to see a lot of teachers falling by the wayside. You're going to see some modalities falling by the wayside. You're going to see some thinking falling by the wayside, and you're also going to find some of the real classics, which people had forgotten all about, coming back. And people like, wow, why were we reading all this junk when actually, look at this that was printed in 1946 or whatever, you know? When I did the video on India, a lot of you were talking about a book that you had read, the autobiography of one of the yogis. I'll just pull it up, see if I can tell you what it was. And soon, I haven't read it, but when I saw it and I saw that quite a few of you were mentioning it, straight away I knew that I needed to read it. And it's an old book that's been around for quite a long time. But, you know, that's one that I want to go back to. It'll be a classic. I can't find what it is now. I'll put it in the comments below. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, as we go into New Earth, we are going to be taking with us only that which is true. The people that lead, and by lead, I mean in all walks of life, be that spiritual leaders, be that political leaders, be that, well, anything, medical people, whatever. It will be the ones that actually, I feel as though this period we're in now is really sorting out the wheat from the chaff. And we will see how it all falls. You know, when we're through all of this, I think a lot of people are going to look back and they're going to suddenly realise, oh my goodness, You know, what that person said made a lot of sense. And equally, what was that person going on about, you know? I was just wanting to see if I could find this book for you. But anyway, I can't pause my camera because I'm recording on my mobile phone. And the reason by the way, the reason I'm recording on my mobile phone is that you can see Metatron when I get my head out of the way. But I'm also wanting just for you to notice that other picture up there. That is the third painting that Jane Tricker did for us, if you remember, I can't find the book, it's the third painting linked into the virus, and this is the one with the healing codes in it. One of you said, why don't you put it up on your wall? Well, it's not framed or anything, so I thought, how can I do that? But, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. So yours truly got out the sellotape. But I tell you what, it's fascinating because, yeah, I've just stuck it up there with sellotape. I've put it over a painting that, in fact, my uncle did for me, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago. And I suddenly thought, oh my God, I know what's behind it. The painting behind this, which I can't show you what it is because I've sellotaped this on top of it. It's of a bridge. It's of a bridge. I mean, for God's sake, you can't make this stuff up. I didn't even realise I was doing it. I'll show you what his style looks like. So I've got the other one over here. My uncle is the most humble man. He would probably be terribly embarrassed that I was showing you this, but that's the other one that goes with it. So it's that style painting. He does beautiful watercolours. Isn't it lovely? But anyway, this has got the bridge underneath it, and it's the bridge, those of you that want to know, it's the bridge at Marlow. I used to live in Marlow in Buckinghamshire, and there's a photograph where I'm standing on this bridge at Marlow, and he hasn't painted me in it, he's just painted the bridge. But I love the fact, it's just so symbolic, isn't it? So symbolic. When this is all over, we'll have a grand unsellotaping of that, and I'll show you the picture that's underneath it. Right, let's have one more card for today. 32 minutes. I've got a few nice things to share with you this week. Let me do that in a minute. Let me just pull one more card. Intangible. Indeterminate, formless, unknowable. The intangible. Card number 0. At the starting point of a whole new world, number 0. Okay, this is a powerful nod. It's the heart shape here, the heart. It's a powerful nod to, where's this card again? It's the picture of the new dawn. The new earth that we're entering into at the moment is formless, unknowable, and intangible. We will create what it is going to be. So if you as a light worker are just completely absorbed with the darkness at the moment and being the spectator and the gorper, you know, and just filling yourself up on it. And actually what I'm being shown by Metatron is somebody sitting at home and it's like they're eating Big Mac after Big Mac after Big Mac, gorging on it, okay? But it's not the Big Mac they're gorging on the conspiracy stuff. That's a bit rude, really. I was just... I don't know why I was being shown it. Okay, just say it, because we're talking about the quality of air, aren't we? Okay, I was just being shown somebody doing this great big burp, basically, after stuffing themselves with all this food, making themselves sick, basically, with it. And then it just has to be expelled because it's just vile and needs to get itself out of the body. The point I'm trying to make is that it is up to us what this new dawn is going to be. And so your job as a light worker is to hold the light, okay? It's to hold the light and to dream in a beautiful new world. How can you dream in a beautiful new world if all you're occupied in is the dark stuff at the moment? It is not saying that the dark does not exist. It damn well does exist. Of course it exists. Of course evil exists. Of course wrongdoing exists on this planet. The people have been put in place to get that out, get that poison out. And what Metatron's showing me is they go in literally like with a Hamzat suit on, you know, because they're equipped to do the job. Don't need spectators, guys. Don't need spectators. Your job is to think about what we want to create when we all come out of this quarantine. What's the world going to look like? What qualities do we want it to have? How do we want people to be treating each other? Think also about the environment. Okay, the environment's had a clean up because we've all been forced inside. Pollution levels have come down. Can we start to focus on the fact that they can stay that way, you know? You know, literally imagining if you live in a big city and imagining your city smog free. You don't need to know how that's even possible, okay? Because as soon as you bring your mind into it, you'll start to, oh yeah, but it's not going to be possible because everyone's going to get back in their car and the fumes are going to be there and blah, 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 blah. And then you're just, you know, you're back into your human mind. Let the soul speak. What does the soul wish this new earth to be? Dream that in. Focus on that. You know, if you're watching anything at the moment, seems to be something coming through linked into the old classics, you know, the old classics. Because a lot of TV filming is on hold and Hollywood films are on hold and all the rest of it. Brilliant. Let's watch the classics. Let's go back and watch, you know, when, I can't remember who it was. There was somebody I brought through. Was it Fred Astaire? It could have been Fred Astaire. Who was the guy who did Dancing in the Rain, Singing in the Rain? Was that Fred Astaire? I did some channeling. Somebody brought him through. It could have been Michael Jackson. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Michael Jackson. Anyway, it doesn't matter who it was. But the message came through. Oh, it was Audrey Hepburn. Sorry, Audrey Hepburn. I channeled Audrey Hepburn on a Princess Diana video that I did. Audrey came through and Audrey was talking about the purity of when films first began, you know, or go back and watch some of those beautiful old films, even the old black and white films. I'm not a big fan of Laurel and Hardy, actually, but, you know, I'm being shown Laurel and Hardy, that type of thing. Go back and watch the greats, the classics. Again, that thing about we take into the future with us that which is good, that which deserves to be in New Earth, that which deserves to be in New Earth. It's going to be the people, whether they're comedians, music, poetry, that deserves to be in New Earth, that will be in New Earth. There's a lot of junk that's going to be discarded and let go of. And that's not a bad thing. Okay, I'll just end by saying, yeah, I'm going to be bringing through a few things this week. I've also got a few people that I'd like to mention. I'm not going to do it on this video, but one of you has got a meditation that you very kindly want to share with people. So I'm going to put that up as a link. Another one of you has just started a channel where you are showing people how to make candles. I think that's going to be brilliant. So I'm going to put a link to that as well. Not necessarily on this video. I want to do one where actually I focus on a candle and the flame and maybe do a meditation, and then I'll put it up with that. There's just a lot going on. It is now 5 to 12. Why is it always 5 to midday when I do these videos? How bizarre is that? I'm going to have my cup of coffee. Actually, I've got Freddie. I've got, what is this? This is a pucker tea, I think. This is licorice. I'm going to do the South African video next. And a lot of you are saying, oh, have you forgotten Australia? Have you forgotten Canada? No, I haven't forgotten. It's just I'm doing countries on a need basis. That's what Metatron's asked me to do. And I'm feeling there's a big need in South Africa, as well as some other parts of Africa as well. But anyway, I'll see what I can do. I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to bring through a channeling with Michael Jackson this week as well. Really looking forward to that. So I think that's just going to really lift us all as well. Take care of you. Lots of love. Be well. And cheers from Freddie. Bye for now, guys. Bye.